Andalucia is proud to host 7 of the World Heritage Sites that are listed in Spain. The sites are chosen for their historical or cultural significance, and 4 of these sites cover, not surprisingly, the long period of Muslim rule of Al-Andalus. We start at perhaps the most famous UNESCO site in Spain, the Alhambra Palace in Granada. The Alhambra Palace was built by the Muslims who ruled Al-Andalus for over 700 years. It is probably the best preserved example of Moorish architecture in Spain. What many people do not know is that the old district of Granada, known as the Albayzín, and the Generalife Palace Gardens, are also part of this unique UNESCO site. Moving on, we arrive at Córdoba, once the limit of navigation on the mighty Rio Guadalquivir. The whole of the city center has been designated a World Heritage Site, including the beautiful Mezquita. Originally a mosque dating back to the 8th century, it is famous for its forest of columns. The structure was considered so beautiful by the Christian monarchs that, after the reconquest of Córdoba, it was preserved, and a Renaissance-style church was built within the mosque. A truly unique edifice. Córdoba was not only the first capital of Al-Andalus, it was also a center of learning. Scholars of all faiths flocked to Córdoba to take part in scientific ventures patronized by the rulers. The Calahorra Fort houses some examples of the wonderful advances that the Muslims made in all of the scientific fields. Córdoba was the most advanced city in Europe. Its population enjoyed running water in private homes, paved streets, streetlights, lush gardens, and a rich bounty of foods, medicines, clothing, and crafts when the rest of Europe was in what has been termed the Dark Ages. Outside Córdoba is another Muslim treasure, Medinat al-Zahra, that shining city, built as a city for a mighty Arab ruler. Medina az-Zahra, as it is known today, was built in 40 years, flourished for 40 years, and then perished in flames and was forgotten for 1,000 years. This site is the latest introduction to the UNESCO World Heritage List for Andalucia, inscribed in 2018. Downstream from Córdoba, we arrive at Seville. Here we can see almost the entire Muslim and Christian history of Andalusia. The city became the capital of Al-Andalus for almost 200 years. The World Heritage Sites include the Royal Alcázar, a succession of palaces started in the Muslim era and that continued into the Christian period, together with a series of gardens, added by each monarch. The cathedral is a very Catholic structure, apart from the 12th century Muslim Giraldo Tower at one end. Seville's central role in the exploitation of the Americas after 1492 is celebrated in the Archive General de Indias, part of the World Heritage Collection. It is a modern-day wonder with 43,000 volumes containing 80 million pages which are housed on 9 kilometers of shelving. Following the reconquest, many cities were rebuilt, including Baeza and its close neighbor, Úbeda. Both were reconquered early, in 1227, by Ferdinand III. Whilst Baeza was abandoned without a fight, Úbeda was totally sacked and up to 60,000 of its inhabitants were slaughtered or enslaved. Both cities rose from the ashes and were rebuilt in a glorious cacophony of Renaissance styles. Visitors to the two towns are encapsulated in a time warp, surrounded by architectural wonders, palaces and mansions, churches and monasteries, and, in Baeza, a university alongside the imposing cathedral. UNESCO describes them as Renaissance monumental ensembles. Follow the Rio Guadalquivir to its estuary and on the north bank you will find Andalusia's only World Heritage Site dedicated to nature. Doñana is a complex mosaic of landscapes forming a paradise for birds in the most important wetlands in Europe. Situated between the provinces of Huelva, Seville and Cadiz, Doñana is now a labyrinth of land and water that shapes the marshes, spectacular lakes and channels, reserves and pine forests, streams and banks, dunes, beaches and cliffs. The Doñana is also one of the 3 national parks found in Andalusia. Finally, we go right back in time to a period predating the pyramids of Egypt. The Antequera megalithic dolmens, Menga, Vera and Romeral, were built between 3800 BC and 2500 BC. These monumental tombs were once thought to have been built by aliens or gods. In reality, they were built by the Neolithic people that inhabited this area. Whole tribes of them working together to create a megalithic complex that was part religious and part ceremonial. A tour of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Andalucia is a journey through time, from 6,000 years ago to the present day. It is an exciting trip that allows visitors to discover some of the very best parts of Andalucia. To find out more, go to visit-andalucia.com and search for UNESCO.